it's time for my next guest. Kate Bond is an alternative soul artist redefining emotional storytelling through sound. Her music navigates love, self-doubt, and growth. Always unfiltered, always resonant. Following the success of her breakout track Divide and Rule, which received over 300,000 streams on Deezer and led to a string of sold-out shows across London, Newcastle, and Leeds. Kate has quickly established herself as one of the UK's most compelling emerging voices. Her work has earned support from BBC Introducing, BBC Six Music, and BBC Radio 1, solidifying her place in the next wave of alternative artists. Please welcome Kate! Applause! Right, Kate, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm well, thank you. Have you been enjoying the sunshine?
I have. I'm very, pasty, so I'm just on the Factor 50 vibes. We're enjoying it. A bit sweaty on the tube, but it's all good.
Where were you coming from?
Broccoli, southeast.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I used to live there.
Did you?
Yeah, it's a nice little village.
It's lovely. I've lived in Dalston for years, and it was, intense. I was literally just off Kingsland Road, and, I just got used to, the carnage of it. And then I moved to Broccoli, and I was like, where's the sirens? It's so quiet. It's almost like you can hear a pin drop, and you're I don't know, good night's sleep, though.
Yeah,
I was wow, there's no, crazy people outside my window, shouting.
Word.
Yeah.
That seems to be a thing of London, to be honest. When you're around the busy area, siren every 10 minutes. It's long.
Yeah.
But, do you live by hilly fields?
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
I used to live right by hilly fields as well.
Yeah. It's mad how many people live there. 'Cause it's kind of one of those places where people don't really, a lot of people, when you say Broccoli, they're like, oh, what's that? Yeah. And it's next to Lewisham. I'm like, oh, right, okay. But it's it's so different to Lewisham. It's literally a little village, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It gives me low-key yummy mummy vibes.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Too much sourdough for my liking.
Yeah.
Everywhere's got sourdough bread.
Yeah.
And I just,
gentrification.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'm going to say is that the sourdough, it's too much. It's an epidemic of sourdough. And
avocado toast.
I'm also just if I want a breakfast, right, I don't want a flour on it. You know what I mean? I just want bacon, eggs, sausage, some Warburton's toast, right? I don't need sourdough. It's so thick and hard to eat. And I'm just what is this obsession with sourdough?
I don't like sourdough either.
No.
I want the real thing.
Yeah.
That brings me to say, what's your favourite breakfast?
Ooh, good question. Oh, I'm going to be I'm going to sound like a yummy mummy now, actually.
No, tell me.
Completely go back on myself. So, it's the eggs Benedict with the smoked salmon.
Ooh.
That's nice.
I love that.
That's good. You get the saltiness, you get a little bit of the sauce, hollandaise sauce. It's good.
Yeah.
It's nice.
The only thing I'll say, fish in the morning.
Yeah, not hungover. It's
not hungover.
I don't want to smell that fish on a hangover. No. Yeah. But if you're it's just a Saturday morning, you've been to the gym, whenever that ever happens. But when it does, the rare occasion that I'm not hungover, I'll pretend that, I've got my life together.
Do you not exercise?
No, I do, but just not on the weekend. I'm usually drunk. I
have unfortunately become that person. But I love it.
Yeah.
I went for a run this morning. And I was telling him, no, I never used to be like this. I'm approaching my 30s, so I'm I look young, black, don't cry.
Yeah, you look good, man. I thought you were my age, I can't lie.
No, I'm only 27.
Oh, so. Okay, that's not approaching your 30s.
I'm in the middle.
When you get to 29, then you'd be yeah.
But, so I love running. Right now I'm loving it. And, I do Pilates now. Who have I become? Ooh! Never used to be like that.
That's yummy mummy vibes.
Yo, I read The Artist's Way. Corny as it sounds, it actually changed my life in a local way.
Collecting dust on my thing.
Every girl has that collecting dust. Don't let it collect dust.
No, I've seen Dochi's on it, man.
She is.
It's how you win a Grammy. So I need to pattern up and start it again. Yeah. So what in The Artist's Way was changing your perspective on it then?
I'd say it gets you to do morning pages. So journal. You journal every day. You write 3 pages every day. And just write your thoughts. It tells you the importance of your own autonomy, the importance of your chasing your dreams. Your childhood is a big one. And the importance of things like health when you're pursuing the industry, any industry. Just the basic stuff, but like the way it's written, it's like it's like a mom telling you to do things and like holding your hand very gently and telling you, hey, maybe you should look into exercising, you know, because that would be great for you if you overthink a lot, or you know, somewhere to like let go and just help you with your mind, because you know the industry, or like any industry has any artist, it gets quite a lot. So like having things like exercise, it brings you down to earth and things like that, so it's quite important. But anyway, do you remember the first time you realized that you had talent?
Ooh, good question. I think that I have always like shied away from the fact that I'm talented in a way, and I'm trying to get better at that, because I'm very like, for example, when I talk about my singing, I'm always like, I'm not really a singer though. I'm more of a songwriter. Okay. And I feel like I'm trying to get better at being like, no, I'm a good singer and I'm a songwriter.
She's both.
Exactly, but I need to back myself more. So I've always been good at singing. Okay, we're gonna be like fucking.
She's a good singer. Let's start there.
Yeah, let's start there. I'm good. I'm good at what I do. But yeah, I think it was a weird one. My dad's a musician, so he was like forcing me to sing when I was young, and like he always had like bands and stuff, mostly like jazz bands and stuff like that. He plays keys and like everything. But yeah, basically he tried it with all of us. I've got two brothers. Oh, those two weren't having it, and I kind of was all right. And he was like, "You'll do. You're my prodigy." He was like, "I'll take you on." So yeah, basically just like made me sing like Billie Holiday, all that kind of stuff when I was like 12, like front in the band.
Start them young.
I know, and I was like, this is so uncool, Dad. Like, I want to sing Lady Gaga. I want to do Rihanna. And he was like, no. So what he used to do was like, he used to basically say, he'd like find a jazz standard and I wouldn't want to sing it because it was an old woman singing it. And I was like, that's not cool. Like, I'm not singing it. And then he'd find like a very young, cool person doing a cover. And then I'd be like, okay, I'll do it.
Your dad is clever.
Yeah.
I love
like,
that.
That's his whole thing, is like, he's like, if he can find someone trendy doing it, then I was like, okay, I'll do it then. Or even better if like someone, not that Rihanna's done jazz standards, but if she had, he'd find it.
Can you imagine Rihanna doing a jazz standard?
That'd be cool. I'd love to hear that actually. But yeah, that's probably when, like, I don't think I found it out for myself. I think my dad like found me and he was like, you are the chosen one.
Yeah. But like, did you not, I'm sure you appreciate it now
I
that
do.
he introduced you to it.
He finds it quite annoying because now I'm like, oh, I'm inspired by jazz singers. And he's like, shut up. He's like, I taught you all of this. But yeah, I think just like, you know, just being exposed to live music from young, I was obsessed. By like 15, I was in like an indie band trying to be a rock star.
Yeah, as you do, because you're from the north.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a rite of passage.
We're both from the north, so we relate to that.
Yeah.
The most down-to-earth people. I'm not going to lie, sorry, Southerners. We love ya, but we're kind of way better.
I think so. I'm just naturally attracted to Northerners. I just feel like you just don't have like the sugar coated, and everyone's so like uptight in the south.
Yeah,
like, chill out, man.
Yeah, just chill out. Let's have a cup of tea.
Yeah,
and just like chat shit.
Go to the mucky pub, have a mucky pint, cig, sound.
Or like when you're young, you like drink in the park. Did you ever used to like drink in the park?
Yeah,
it's like a rite of passage.
It is a rite of passage. Yeah, you got to steal all your mum's like liquor from the cabinet.
Yeah,
and then put it into a nasty big bottle, and then you drink it
of like Ribena or something.
Yeah. Absolutely wankered in the park, just like
no, it's crazy. You've spoke about indie bands. What would you say is your top 5 indie bands?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
You know what? My boyfriend's actually inspired a lot of this recently, because I used to listen to loads, and then like I went down a soul R&B vibe, and now I'm back on my indie vibe, and I love a grungy northern band.
Yes.
But I'd say like Arctic Monkeys,
of course.
Alex Turner, come on.
Best writer.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. He's so good.
Yeah.
I like the way that he writes stories is like so visual.
Poetic. Like you sometimes I feel I can smell his lyrics.
Yeah.
Like he takes me there.
Yeah, 100%. No, he's so good. He's just like one of those where you're like, how do you write like that? You're so annoying.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's incredible.
He's great.
Kasabian, obviously, minus all of the dodgy stuff, but that's cool. But, you know, they live, unreal. I have seen them live a few times, and they are incredible. And then who else? I'd say Blossoms, new
I don't
obsession.
know them.
They're great. They're great. Okay. They're like cool because their whole branding is like 70s, like very like you know, it's all men, but they're very in touch with their femininity, and they're like wearing flares, and they're all just like kind of, you know, just soft boys. Like you can imagine they're just soft boys.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I
manipulator
just love you.
vibes.
No, not really. Well, maybe like
they're like still any girl.
Yeah,
they're like still your man if they wanted to.
Oh yeah, probably. No, they're just fun loving, like sweet guys. They seem nice, but you know, we don't really know what they're like. Yeah, I don't know. And then I feel like we've got to like say some like female bands, but I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a female band, well, female fronting girl on a boy band called Love Cat.
Oh, I've not
Have you heard of
them.
Love Cat?
No.
I will show you Love Cat.
Okay.
I think she's from Liverpool.
Nice.
And she's crushing it.
Okay.
She's making this very fusion of, I'd like to say, like, murder mystery songs.
Ooh.
It's very like sometimes grungy, it's indie, and sometimes a little bit jazz. It's very cool. She's on the rise.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll listen to a bit of Love Cat. She's got a good name as well.
Yeah,
very, like,
she's very cool. I think you love her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I can only name 3 off the top of my head, but
yeah,
I think it's annoying that I can't think of a female fronted band. I'm trying to think of one.
Harley Blue.
I don't know that.
Who?
Harley Blue. She's from Nottingham.
Oh.
Oh.
I have no idea.
I need more females.
Sorry to that girl. Anyway, what would you say has been some of like challenging things that you faced in the industry?
I think what I find challenging is like when you're coming up and it's like comparison, for example, is something I struggle with a lot. So it's like, it's all well and good, like knowing where you're at and like what you're trying to do and you're on your path and your focus. Yeah. But then it's so easy to be like, you know, compared to others or compare yourself to others or, you know, like when you're in like an indie scene, for example, like when I lived in Newcastle, that's where I started my music career. And I found it like awful, like sometimes when you're like at a gig and like you're in like the front row and there's some band and they're like just kind of watching the other band and like slagging them off and like I hate
why is that?
And then you're like doing your sound check and then they're just like watching and it's almost like they're like trying
intimidating you.
or like just trying to like judge you from a musician's perspective and you're like just get to fuck, you know what I mean? Yeah, just actually fuck off. It's such bad vibes. Like, it's such bad vibes. And we're all here just trying to do our thing. But I think that's annoying. It's like people like comparing themselves to you for like their ego and she didn't hit that note, so she shits. You know what I mean? Like that kind of vibes. So yeah, I think that's been a challenge. And then just me generally like being in my own head, like trying to like kind of move myself and like not get backtrack because it's so hard like when you see like your peers like smashing it and like suddenly someone's like signed to a record label and you're like what am I doing wrong, you know? Like
you
subconsciously
how do you do it? Just feel like you're not good enough and that's not true. It's like we can get sidetracked by like people around us achievement and I love how you talked about the fact of I love how you talked about the indie bands watching on the sideline and like kind of like judging you and making you feel a bit intimidated. I find that a lot personally. I find that a lot when I'm like supporting bigger artists. They never really want to come and watch you. Like me personally, if I'm supporting someone big, I want to like write about it, make a post about it and tag them and, you know, be thankful and whatnot and come in a little bit earlier before my sound check, meet them, you know, because we're working on this night together, you know. But like I feel like I come across a lot of headlines where they're just trying to like put you in your place, kind of like you're beneath them and they don't even care to, obviously I understand sometimes like they have to go and get ready for their set, but like I usually kind of wait 5 minutes, like just watch me.
At least watch one song, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I have an issue with that, like, because I was promoting a show for a little while, like, that I did, like, called Ep2 Soul. It's like a...
Yes!
Yeah, it's like a soul night and stuff. And my main pet peeve in life, in general, is, like, when people just stay for their set and leave. Or they don't support others, or they don't watch, like, any other set. It's just, like, so egotistical.
Don't be that person.
Just don't be, especially at this level, because you're, like, we're actually all just, like, not anyone big yet, so like having that attitude is like crazy to me because I'm like no, like you can't be like that. And also I just think like when you watch other people's stuff, you can take so much from that. Like, you're learning, even if it's not your bag, even if like the music that they make is so like not your thing. Like, I will still watch people and be like impressed, like by their stage presence, or you know, they might use a weird synth and I'm like, that's cool as fuck, what the hell.
Absolutely.
And then like everything's a learning thing. So it's like when people think they're bigger than others and they don't want to watch, it's like, well, you could have like learned something. You could have met their drummer who you then work with,
bro.
And it's like, why? Like, it's so bad. Like, build your connections, especially at this stage. Like, build your connections.
Especially at this stage. You're so right about that. I find it also quite annoying when people don't stay after, like, even like in some like bands that I've had in the past or whatnot. My bands are a bit more, how do I say, they're a bit more into what I'm doing than the past versions of them. They just didn't care to stay after the shows. That's where you get your next job. Do you know that? You have ruined your chance. You could have met the next, I don't know, agency or whatnot. You need to stay after shows because you must meet people. That's when you get your next job. And a lot of people just get stuck up in their ego. They're like, okay, I'm done. I've done my part. Let me go home. How do you know, like, the person that you watched or whoever you met, the sound engineer might like what you're doing, and they might have a few words to say and be like, hey, take this number, do you know what I mean? Most of the work that I've got is because I stay after shows. I go watch other people's show. I make sure that, like, I am the most friendliest person there and the most accommodating person there. I don't want to be that person who's intolerable. Do you know what I mean? That person who's mean mugging. No, because at the end of the day, we're here to have fun.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Anyway, what song do you love that you wish you wrote?
Oh, I love that you asked me this question. I literally have done a whole series on my Instagram recently and doing covers of songs that I wish I'd written. So, like, for me, the number one at the minute is Good Luck Babe by Chapel Rowan, because I was telling him I love that song, the chorus. Oh, it's so good.
Chorus.
We could talk about it for hours. Like, the thing about it is that I just love the way that she's just captured an emotion that's so raw, and like the way she's written about it is just like, you get songs, right, where they dance around the feeling and they don't quite get to the meaning, and I think that's why a lot of songs don't actually bang in the end, or like or don't resonate, because it's like you haven't really put it in the right words, you know? But like with her, I was like, you know, just like the way she framed that moment. So for what I get from the song is a lesbian relationship.
Yes, of course.
And the woman she's talking about is kind of dancing. She's not sure of herself.
Absolutely.
But then she's with her and she still is in love with her, but she's just not willing to like admit it. So she goes to the club, she just kisses other boys, she's trying to avoid the fact that she's gay, and she loves her. And it's like, even though I'm not gay, like that is such a thing, right? It's like, you know, if you're in a situationship and like someone's just like wanting to sleep around, avoidant, they don't want to just actually admit that they like you or like you, or
willing to like put the work to like be right for you.
Exactly. So it's just avoiding the emotion, avoiding everything, and then just kissing loads of boys or whatever. And I've listened to it and I was like, you've just captured something there, and I just can't like describe how brilliant that is.
I got chills,
you know,
like,
when you're like 2,000 boys and girls, and it's just like, it's just so good. So good.
And the way she sings it as well, it's just like, that chorus is honestly, even speaking of her, I get like goosebumps. I love that chorus so much. I wish I wrote it.
Oh yeah,
give me another one.
It's a good one. Oh, so many. I think Bless the Telephone by Labry C3. I can't say his name properly. It's a new one. Well, it's not a new one. It's an old one, but it's coming back. It's having a resurgence. It's a 70s song. Again, a gay artist. I think the gays are doing it best. I can't lie.
Hey, girl.
Look, the gays know how to write a good song.
They
okay,
do.
like I don't know what trauma's going on in the gay community, but fucking
so much feeling.
Yeah,
they like give it to us very raw.
It's so raw.
We appreciate it.
I think it's probably because they have to deal with so much like kind of discrimination or stuff because of their love, that when they love even deeper, because there's so much around it that's like so hard to like just love, you know. That's what I get from it anyway. But this guy, Oh, this song is so nice. It's just like about, I'm in my Lover Girl era, clearly. But like, he was just like, it's just called Blessed Telephone. It's all about just when someone calls you that you love. And like, it's just how that one phone call can make your day.
Yeah.
But the way he sings it is so sweet. And it's like literally just a guitar. And it's like really stripped back, but it's just gorgeous. I've actually just learned it because I was like, that's so nice.
Have you done the cover?
I'm about to, yeah.
Yes,
so
we need to hear it.
It will be on my Instagram soon.
Yes.
But I love it.
Have you ever been ghosted by someone in the industry?
I thought you meant ghosting, Jack. I've definitely been ghosted, but many times. Yes, I have actually. So I basically, I don't know why
I'm laughing. This is why I'm now saying.
It's funny. I laugh as well. I'm just like, lol.
Respect the dead.
No, I've been ghosted by industry all the time. And it's like, it's weird to me because it's like, I think I've got like maybe it's completely off tangent, but I'm convinced that like A&Rs and stuff have to like get in touch with like a certain amount of people per day as like a KPI or something.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't understand why like you set up a meeting if you're not interested in signing me.
Oh no, that happened to you.
It happens all the time.
I'm sorry.
No, not with an A&R, but with like a manager guy. So he set up a meeting with me, completely like did the whole thing. He's like, I want to come to your show, didn't come. And I was like, sound. But I was like, why did you like bother? Like, why did you just like not? But it's fine.
I just hate it when they proper gas you up. And they love bomb you.
Yeah.
And they proper gas it up. They gas it. And your head is just growing. You're like, this is it. Because like in this industry, we always have to think that like, yes, things are happening. And it's just unfortunate.
Yeah. It's a weird one. But then I'm also like, because of my size and like where I'm currently at, I'm always like very like confused as to why industry would come to me at this stage, because I know that I'm not like banging on TikTok for one, and I don't have my audience just yet. It's kind of like one of those things where it's like, if industry came to me, like say like a major label were looking to sign me at this point, I would be very cautious about why or like what the reason was, because they don't really do artist development anymore in record labels.
That's true.
It would either be to shelf me or give me like a really shit advance and have me on like a massively long deal or something.
You know what? You are within your own right to think this way, and I think it's quite an intelligent way of seeing it. Because like if you didn't think of it in such an introspective way right now, you would have fallen for it, like if it did come along.
Yeah.
But I also think that there's a lot of indie labels that do sign artists like us.
Yeah.
So it depends who you come across.
Yeah.
And you just have to be obviously like careful with who you're dealing with.
Yeah.
And me personally, I think being signed is more validation in nowadays than it is to make you a star or whatever that means.
Yeah.
And I think we're living in a time where independent artists are driving the industry.
Yeah.
And they're doing things on their own terms. Look at people like Ray or whatnot. And yeah, I feel like nowadays managers, all of that is just to blow your head for a little bit. And I'm not saying that like everyone is getting fucked in the ass, but like but like there's a plethora of people who are in shitty deals, who are dealing with shitty people and doing things, giving away a lot of themselves for the status, because we have to remember this music industry is a lot of it is illusions. You might see someone get signed, but you don't know what they're having to deal with in the back, you know. I think what will really help an artist is leverage, because if you have leverage, like you've said right now, if we have leverage, then we can say what goes. So we have power. When we don't have leverage, that's when we're more prone to get taken advantage of.
Yeah. Well, that's it, isn't it? That's why I think, like, for me, it's all about just building the audience myself.
Absolutely. And let them come to you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And invest in something that's already going. Because, business is a business at the end of the day, the music business. So Absolutely. It's like, if you're not clued up on, like, the music business side of it and you don't understand deals or rights or royalties, I mean, it's literally so hard to understand anyway. Like, it's so difficult. But like, it's one of those things I think all artists should learn, because it's like, if I was like, released my first single in 2021. Back then, if like Sony had come to me and been like, we want to sign you, I'd be like, oh my god, yes. Took like 10 grand and been like, oh yeah, that's an amazing advance, and then I'd be absolutely fucked, because 10 grand is not actually a lot of money.
No, it's not.
It's like, but at the time I'd be like, oh my god, I've made it, and like, so it's like just having discernment and being like,
absolutely,
let's just approach with caution. Obviously everyone would love to be signed, but again, like, being signed is not a measure of success, because it might not actually be,
it might not work out.
And I think it would be really upsetting to be signed and then be dropped because it wasn't the right deal. So it's better to just actually do it yourself, and then, you know, hopefully you build your own community. You're actually cutting out the middleman, because you can just talk directly to your community now. You don't have to like go through a label or publisher or anything. You can literally distribute your music on DistroKid. Hopefully it pops off, and then just smash it.
What is one of the toughest predicament that you've came across when putting on shows for FU Soul?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think for FU Soul, the whole like premise of it was to like make it artist focused. So rather than like just doing the classic like, we're gonna put a gig on and we're gonna like just put a name on a poster and like give you some really shit to post and then like bully you into posting it, and then, you know, basically all the horrible promoters in London, we were trying to not do that and like actually create like a little like thing, but equally like it's a really small artist, really small budget. I was just doing it off my own back, so I was like, you know, within reason. So I have a friend, Jason, who does all the content, and we were like, why don't we try and make it so that we can actually get to know the artist before they play? So we'd done like little interviews with everyone, and it was like a whole thing. But then I think the predicament was like just getting people to even post really good content, because it's like, you know, we were putting in hours of work and it was like really professional footage. We didn't want to be pushy with people and be like, you have to post this. But equally I was like, can you please, like, just even on your story, like, oh my god, it's so
awkward though when like the artist doesn't want to participate. I hate that so much. Like, this is your show. Do you know what I mean? We booked you, we're probably paying you money. Like, just participate. And most times, if you're hearing this, if you keep this petty game going, you probably won't get booked again, because that's not on.
And share a link, like, just like not having like the ticket link in your bio. Like, I'm like, come on, like, I'm trying here. And like, I think the thing with FU Soul was like, I was doing that, also working full time, also studying a master's. I was like, this is too much. So I was like, I'm trying to like chase artists up for like stuff, and I was like, oh, I understand promoters now, why they get mad. But yeah, I mean, we're still thinking about doing it, but we put it on hold for a little bit, because I was like, this is way too much. Like, I'm doing way too much here. But
like, you raised a lot of awareness about it as well. Like, you guys got a really good platform. Like, the videos, the Instagram is looking good and everything. When did you start it?
I think I started it like last year in like January time.
Was it last year?
Oh no, the year before. I can't remember.
No, it must be 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was very early on when I was in London, and I wasn't really doing music myself, like putting music out. But again, like, now I'm about to release music, I'm like, I'm gonna already be in a coma as of psychosis by the end of this. I'm like, no, let's just like not stress myself out. But I think we're gonna do a tour with FU Soul.
That's cool.
Next year, and we're gonna try and make it a whole thing. EP release, like, try and tie it in. You know how it is. So it's still there, it's still in the back burner, but right now I'm just like, I will literally send myself into some sort of
sometimes you just have to like prioritize your own stuff. And, like, that will always be there, and it will come back.
Exactly.
Last one of the toughest question. How do you deal with jealousy, and do you think the London creative scene has a crab in a bucket mentality?
What's a crab in a bucket mentality?
So a crab in a bucket mentality is an a crab in a bucket mentality is an analogy of when you put crabs in a bucket, and like one crab tries to like leave, and then the other drags it down.
Right,
So that's what it is.
Okay.
So imagine like when you're on the scene and you're rising up, and then someone else is trying to drag you down because they don't want you to reach your potential.
Okay, I get it. I mean, jealousy for me, I think it's natural. And I think anyone that says they're not ever jealous is a lie.
You're lying.
It's a lie. Because I'm like, I'd say that I'm like I think jealousy is stemmed in insecurity.
Yeah.
And I think it's natural to be insecure, especially as like a woman in the industry. Like there's so much about that already. And I suffered as a young teenager with insecurity anyway. Insecurity goes into everything I do. Relationships, stuff like that. I'm very insecure. I shouldn't be, but I am. And that's just how it is. So I think with music, it's more like just like understanding where I'm currently at. And I think that if I'm ever jealous of like someone else's success, which to be fair doesn't happen as often anymore. I think when I was younger and it was like, it felt like a race because everyone was like doing it at the same time and it was like super young and like it was very much like, oh, like, you know, what's wrong with my music? Why is hers getting played kind of thing? It's like, I think that was a young mentality, and I think the longer you're in the game, the more you just know that it's a process and that it's going to take longer than a year. And just because someone's popped off in like 6 months doesn't mean that like that's a reflection on you and your worth.
It also doesn't mean that they're always going to pop off.
Well, this is it. It's also sustainability, and it's like, I think what I do to help me with that mentality is like think back to, you know, the times where I've really been like that, like down bad about someone else popping off and mine didn't, because I'm like, well, actually that song there, if you'd have popped off back then, it's nothing like the music you're doing now. So like, how long was that trajectory ever going to go on for? Because like, you can only recreate that so many times. Like that was never actually where you were going to land and what your purpose was or what your sound was going to be. So yeah, I think it's just like not wanting things too early when they're not ready for you. It's like, just because that's someone else's story, that's when they were ready. You're not ready yet, and
that's
you still
so
have time to go. And your journey's going to be a little bit longer. Maybe, you know, you don't have the funds to promote yourself like they might, and that's fine. Like people are coming from different backgrounds. So I think it's just like grounding yourself and understanding that like it's not your time yet, but your time will come, and it's not because you're not good enough.
Yeah, it's like, it's also perspective, you know, like you don't know what someone had to do to get to where they're at. Like some people have rich families and like in this industry you have to have money, and some people have their mom and dads and their aunties or their uncles funding their music career, making vinyls or things like that. And some people just got lucky, you know. So to me, what I find is like I have to always like ground myself and say like, this is your journey. You're not there yet. You're going to have something that's going to come in your way, and you're going to look back and be like, this is my time now. And you're not even going to think about the next person when you're going to have your time. So I think to me, in this industry, it's all about playing the long game. It's about the last man standing. That's how I see it. Because there are a lot of people I've seen come and go. And the way I deal with jealousy, it's like you said, it's a normal emotion. I'm fine about being jealous, but like what I think makes someone a weirdo is when they act on it. Because like, it's one thing to be jealous because it's a normal feeling like sad and happiness, but like how you go about your jealousy, it's what makes you a weirdo. Like me, when I'm jealous, I just go off Instagram. You know what I mean? Like. And I've heard artists where they just like delete Instagram for a minute. Or like sometimes I use that energy to like alchemize me to my own project. I see like, oh my God, that's so cool. I'll go and play my guitar even more. I'll spend like 2 hours. Because then I'm like using that jealousy as fuel to play my guitar even more. So after my session with my guitar, I feel better now. I'm not thinking about the next girl. Now I feel better that I've put in more work on my guitar.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So I always look at it like that. And yeah, it's very normal. Especially, I hate Instagram because it's all in your face. Like, I see a lot of people playing or doing the things that I want, and I'm not there yet. It's always just like self-regulation, you know. I always try to like regulate myself and be like, it's okay, it's fine. But it's at the end of the day, it's all a game in this industry. And like what I don't like, it's like sometime like when people act on it, that's when I know like, oh, I don't think I can be approximately around that person, because it's like, if you act this way, then that's going to be a problem if I try to make friendship with you. So like I've had a lot of friendships in the industry where like they show their jealousy, and like that's not because I haven't felt jealousy towards them. I have, but I've dealt with it in a healthy way. I self-regulated and I removed myself, and I came back as natural layer. But yeah, I think the most beautiful thing about being in our scene is like there's so many talented motherfuckers around. It's so inspiring to me, like so inspiring whenever I come across musicians such as you, and I'm like, wow, we're on this scene together. Like that is so cool. Like if I think you're cool, then I must be cool at some point. You know what I mean? I always like reflect that onto me whenever I'm feeling low about my art or whatnot. So this is for the last segment of the show. It's called May the Situation Never Find Me.
Love that.
So I want you to reflect on any situation that you've seen across the industry that made you feel like, oh my God, I hope that never happens to me.
Oh God. You know what, a good one actually that I saw on TikTok the other day, there's this artist called Sissy. She's like stunning, like looks like Khaleesi from Game of Thrones, like white hair. She's like very much like R&B singer. And she put out this thing, and I was so shook by this because she's absolutely tiny, by the way. And it was like, when a major label drops you because they think that you're too fat. And I was like, I actually would quit music if someone said that to me. I was like, what do you mean? Because she's tiny. And I was like, I can't believe that these people
that's sad
exist. And that like, because I just think like what gives you the right, like you're what major label, I'm guessing it was like an A&R that said that, but I'm just like, you've literally applied for a job as an A&R, got a job. Like, who gives you the right to have that opinion and even like project that opinion? And also the fact that like, as a woman, that's even a conversation topic. Like, would you drop? I mean, look at Ed Sheeran. You know what I mean? Like, he's not exactly gorgeous. You know what I mean? Not to be rude.
No offense.
But I'm just saying.
No
like,
offense to that man.
No offense, Ed Sheeran. If you see this, we're good. Yeah.
Love ya. I love A-Town. Is it A-Team? I love A-Team.
A-Team. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I just feel like the standards for women is insane. Like the fact that you have to be like always like certain size or like pretty or whatever to make it, and it's like the expectation of women compared to men. Like a male singer can make it fat or not. A woman apparently, or like if it's like Adele, for example, like when she was quite overweight when she first broke out, it was always about that. It was never like she's actually just incredible, and now she's like slim and that's like front page news, and it's like I just can't be arsed. And that's the part of the industry that stresses me out, because I'm like
for sure. I think sometimes it's a manipulative tactic. Sometimes they don't want to invest and they just want to like have a reason to just be like it's because you're fat. I honestly believe that.
Insane,
yeah, I do, because like a lot of people in this industry, because like, have you ever heard of the term the devil's music? Music is the devil's. So like, it's very biblical. Christian love to see music, because I grew up in a very Christian family. I'm not Christian, I'm spiritual, but growing up in a Christian family, music was always regarded as like the devil's music, because it was apparently Satan's thing. That like God was like, Satan, okay, you have this, and then blah blah blah. And so I still like to see it sometime like that. In this industry, it's full of fucking weird people who say weird and do weird shit to get their way. So I do believe that could be like a manipulative tactic to like just get rid of her. Because sometimes when you get dropped, it's not reflection on you. Yeah. Like it really, most times it isn't. Yeah. That's what I realize now, because I'm no longer with my label, because I got dropped. But so sometimes when you get dropped, it's not a reflection on you, and it's just a reflection of whatever is going on in A&R or the background, whatever people are doing, or like sometimes it's like petty reasons. Sometimes they don't have any money, and sometimes they don't see how they can take you on and like develop you, because most times they are a bit lazy at promoting. They don't want to develop artists. They want you to come with your own stuff, and then they can just add whatever, and most of the times it is like that. So it could be a thing where like it's just for manipulative reason. They just said to her like, hey, sorry, we, instead of saying like they don't have any money, because again, this industry is driven by ego. Do you think a label is going to be like, oh, tell everyone they don't have any money? They're not going to do that. They're just going to be like, oh yeah, make an excuse. Oh, sorry, it's on you. Yeah. So like you have to be aware of that. Yeah. Now let's switch up and hear from our dilemmas of may this situation never find me. This person said, 12 weeks pregnant, doing a tribute gig in the Midlands, pub landlord offers me to stay over. He really pushes it. He's supplying drinks on me, trying to book in as many dates as possible. I had mentioned I was with child. Whew.
This guy just sounds like a certified creep, to be fair.
Yeah.
It just sounds like a void. I think any man that, like, literally, I think, yeah, any man that's just lacing you with drinks, just get out. Like, just leave.
With child as well.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it's this industry as well where, like, a lot of men, they think that when they give you a job, they can have their way with you. I don't know if you've ever experienced that.
Yeah,
it's like this thing where you have, haven't you?
Yeah.
Tell me.
I think it's just generally, like, I think what I've learned growing up as a woman, which is something that I've only just really developed, maybe it's my frontal lobe because I've just turned 25, so maybe it's like,
yeah, that'll do it.
But, like, I think I really just didn't understand, like, how much men sexualize women until recently.
Girl.
I was, like, kind of maybe naive to it a little bit more, mainly because I've got two brothers that are very, like, lovely boys, but it doesn't mean that their nature isn't to also sexualize women, you know what I mean? Not that my brothers are bad, ignore that. But I just mean, like, in general, like, I just have noticed it a lot more. Like, even, like, when you're on the tube and it's, like, men just look at you with, like, deadpan eyes and it's, like, a weird animalistic thing. And you're just, like, do you guys even know you're doing it? Like, it's crazy. And I'm just, like, I just don't understand, like, just how the male mind works. However, yeah, like, just with, like, in general, the amount of times that, like, you know, there's been cases of, like, you know, I've been given an opportunity and it's not really an opportunity. It's like, oh, well, you can come to my studio. The worst
the studio sessions.
Don't even get me started. It's usually fine, and I want to, like, proceed with, like, the most love, because it's, like, most of the time it's absolutely fine. But, like, I've been in sessions, or, like, not even been in sessions, been approached for sessions, and it's, like, they'll say, for example, there's one guy, like, a while ago, he was like, oh, you're a really good singer, whatever, cool. And then it's like, oh, yeah, come to my studios, I'd love to make a song with you. And then, like, a few drinks later, because it's, like, when we're out and I don't know them, and then it's, like, suddenly, like, oh, you're, like, just makes a really inappropriate comment about my body, or, like, just makes it sexual. Starts. And it's like, what, so you've invited me to your studio for a session, and then you're also going to proceed with, like, after saying that, making it weirdly sexual. So now it's, like, this isn't a session, and you're also not interested in my music. It's purely like, I'm trying to try it on with you. Luckily, I've never had anything in a studio session happen.
But it's just the vibes that
you
change.
Just get the vibe, and you're just like, this studio session sounds a bit ropey.
It's sounding a bit rapey. And then it's just like, makes you feel like you owe them something. Like the energy just really changes, and now I don't know about you, but when I experience that, I feel quite disheartened.
Yeah,
because it's like, am I not good enough, just me?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's really a shitty feeling.
It is a shitty feeling. Luckily, I've been surrounded by a lot of good men in this industry, and I haven't had a huge amount of, like, bad vibes in that department. I've heard of girls having worse, and I've definitely had, like, some horrible stories told me about male producers, but I think that I'm quite, like, hard to fuck over, because I'm, like, quite, like...
Because you're intelligent.
Yeah, and I just read
not
it.
That a lot of people... Let's not victim blame.
No.
But it's just maybe coming from experience as well.
Yeah, I think I can just smell it a mile off, like, especially with... I just also am, like, I've always been, like, very on it with stuff like that. For example, when I go out, like, my hand's always over my drink. I'm just not, like, you're not doing me like that. I'm so sorry.
It's
like,
as well.
I'm there with my friends, like, put your hands over your drinks. Like, I'm overly cautious. So, like, I'm, like, you know, if there was ever a situation, for example, if a big producer wanted to work with me like that, I would bring someone. Like, I'm never gonna put myself in that situation. Not that you can avoid it all the time, but I'm just, like, absolutely not. I just don't trust anyone, and I think that's a good way to be.
Yeah, as a woman, I don't believe you should trust anyone.
No,
you know,
I don't trust anyone, and then I'm still alive, so you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
All right, another one that someone has said: the most frequently occurring problem I've observed in decades of live performance and studio work is musicians chronically undervaluing themselves financially. Over and over again, people accept paltry payment from pubs to do covers, Pubs that charge £6 to £7 a pint and open 7 days a week. This phenomenon rarely occurs in the construction industry, where ability and quality are not always relevant to pay.
Ooh, I like it.
We was just talking about this, how like music industries, like there's no money in there, and not many people make money, and what do you have to say about that?
I think I see it from both perspectives, because I've put on shows, but I also am an artist. And I think that, you know, I understand like the finances of putting on a show. If you don't sell it out, you're making a loss. So it's like, fair enough. And I kind of always taken that on board, and like always kind of just taken the L. But like, yeah, for like obviously like businesses that are trying to promote stuff, I get it. You can only really front a certain amount, but then equally, like, I always feel like, for example, I'm out of pocket when I do a show a lot of the times, because I always want to pay my band something.
Yes.
So, like, and I think, honestly, if you want good musicians around you, even if the fee's shit, you just don't, like, I hardly take money for shows. I just pay my band out.
Yeah, you're going to have to do some sacrifice.
Yeah, you
Absolutely.
can't have good musicians playing for you if you don't pay them, or at least, like, you know, give them what you can. Because a lot of people will come for the ride, and those people are, you know, there for real, but then also, like, you've got to respect their talent and their time. So, yeah, like, it's always, like, a bit of a, oh, God, do you want to do a full band show? And then there's no fee, and then you're like, and then you're like, I'll just pay the band out of my own money sometimes, because I'm like, I want to do this show, it's a good opportunity, but then I'm probably making a loss. And it's just that, it's like, I don't know whether it's undervaluing yourself, or it's just kind of working at the level that I am, and like potentially sometimes people pleasing a little bit too much and losing out. But I don't know. I've always had the philosophy of like pay people, because I just think that I've got some really good stuff out of, you know, even like paying for good producers, like investing, like, okay, the streams might not come, but like, I think there's something to be said for quality. And I've always kind of done that, but it's not, you know, I also work full time. Like, it's not like I'm just like have money, like I work full time and I work for it, but it's like, yeah, it's just hard to like balance and understand your worth and what you should be charging. No one talks about what they charge either. So you're like, am I underselling myself? Is there actually more budget? Am I just fucking myself over? This industry is just crazy.
It's lawless. And errors. It's lawless. But what I'd say is know your worth when it comes to promoters, but also like what we said before, sometimes you're going to have to do exposures on the early stages. It's just how it works. You don't have leverage. You can't expect to get paid the most. So sometimes there's a lot of free gigs you're going to have to do just to get yourself out there. And that's like the basics. But once you have a little following, you've done a few things, then you can start thinking about like, okay, how much should I charge people for performances and things like that? And it always varies. It varies from like, hey, if BBC Introducing wanted you to pay, then maybe they'll have a little budget. Then just use your brain. Maybe just like ask for what you will initially ask for platforms like that. And don't be afraid. If they said no, it's a no, then it's fine. Negotiate. It's all about negotiating. Don't come in and just expect them to decide for you, because that's a test in a way for your worth. It's a test for how much business savvy you are, because this is all business, you know. You have to know how much you play for. You have to know how many people play in your band, and each gig is always going to be different. Like sometimes we narrow it down to just us alone. If it's like, oh, they can only pay us like 200 or like then we're like, oh, maybe just a trio, or maybe just me and myself, or maybe just like I will pay my band out of my own pocket to make up if I want a full band. But what I'd say about this, just to close it off, is like, know how much you charge people for your performances. Be business savvy, because it is a business. But also know that in this industry, you're going to have to do things for free when you start off. Until you have leverage, then you can be like, da-da-da-da-da-da. And if they say no, fair enough. But at the end of the day, when they approach you, it's all about negotiation. Like, you have to deal with it as professional as possible. There's no need to be confrontational. never be confrontational. Always handle it in a professional manner, because at the end of the day, it's negotiation. It's a back and forth. Okay, I can do this, but okay. And then eventually you meet each other halfway. So that's how I say about that. And that wraps our session for today. Thank you so much, Kate, for being here.
That's okay. Slay. Slay.
Would you like to say what you have coming up?
Yeah, so I'm back. It's been a while. I've been hibernating for a bit. But yeah, I'm back this year. I'm going to start releasing music again. So I'm releasing an EP called All Out of Love. And it's a 4-track, maybe 5-track EP. I haven't decided yet. But the first single, Toxicity, will be out at the end of June. So it's all about toxic relationships. It's a bop. It's got some fat drive drums in there. It's funky as fuck. So you should listen to it. And that's my promo. And then the rest of it will come out during the year. But yeah.
Now it's time for us to drink our life away. Would you like a shot?
Yeah, go on then.
Yeah, let's do it.
Once again.
What is this? Yeah. We're celebrating the sun.
Yeah. The way you drink it makes it really classy. Whereas I'm usually fucking hanging onto the bar like anyway.
Cheers, babe.
Cheers.